What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma. So today's video I'm actually really excited to film because I feel like I've been on a Depop and Poshmark grind for the last week or so. So I thought this video would be super helpful for a lot of people. I know my friends ask me a lot of questions about how to use Depop, how do I take my pictures, stuff like that. And I figured that it would help a lot of you guys as well because I know lots of people are going through their closets right now trying to declutter, get rid of stuff, make some extra pocket change. So first I'm just gonna walk you guys through how I pick my clothing, take my photos, all that kind of stuff, how I ship it out. And then in the second part, I'll kind of be talking about tips and stuff like that that I've learned over the past few years of doing this. Okay, so the first step is you're gonna wanna go through your closet. Whenever you're picking things out, you wanna pick out things that are gently used. They don't have to be new, but you wanna make sure there's not rips all over them or a massive stain or something. A little side note is that I would suggest pulling your clothes seasonally. So if it's spring, I would look at your skirts and your dresses and your sandals, winter, sweaters, all that kind of stuff. You guys get the idea. People are obviously more likely to buy things if they're in season, so that just helps whenever you're selling stuff because you know what people are generally looking for. I have a whole video on me going through my closet that I will go ahead and link down below for you guys if you haven't seen it already. I basically went through every single thing that I own. And then I went ahead and did this whole process and uploaded everything to Depop and Poshmark. Second is photographing your clothing. So the first thing that I would say is to avoid flat lays. There's a few reasons that I personally would avoid doing this. The first is that a lot of people are gonna message you asking to see the clothing item on anyway, so you might as well just take a photo in it and upload it. It just saves time. Second of all, I feel you're more likely to sell an item if somebody can see it on. So I've taken photos a few different ways for Poshmark. The first way is just using a tripod. The first time that I did this, I actually had my roommate Naomi help me, which was super helpful because I was behind the camera and she was trying things on, and it just made the process a lot quicker. I was able to take front, back, side photos like this, and we just got through it pretty quick. If you don't have anyone to try on the clothing for you, you can definitely just use a tripod and a self timer or a remote or something. That totally works as well. The third way that I would say is probably the easiest but also the least professional looking is to take mirror photos. That's actually what I ended up doing for this last round just because I had so many things to go through and I didn't really have anyone to help me because we're in quarantine. So I went ahead and just tried on my clothing items with a pair of jeans and tried to find decent lighting in my apartment and just took a mirror photo. So once you have your photos, sometimes I edit them, sometimes I don't. It totally just depends if the photo's dark or I feel the color doesn't really represent what the item actually looks like. You just want to be careful when adding filters and stuff like that you're not changing the color of the item itself. Okay, now step 3 is to finally upload your stuff. The first tip that I would have is to upload across all platforms. If you really want to sell your stuff, I feel it's important to maximize the number of people that are seeing your item. So I would upload it on Depop, Poshmark, Vinted, Tradesy, any app or Facebook Marketplace or whatever that you can think of, I would go ahead and do that. But I know that Thank you, Eloise. So when you are uploading, I would say be pretty specific. You definitely want to be specific in your title. So if something has fringe, maybe say Urban Outfitters black fringe bralette, just pointing out details like that definitely makes people find your stuff a little bit easier. So choosing a price for the items that you want to upload, I would say totally depends on the value it actually holds, the condition that it's in, the value that it holds to you, the brand. There's a lot of different factors that come into play. I know some places are oh, market 75% off of the retail price and just post it like that. If it's something that I've only worn twice or something and it's in really good condition, I'm gonna mark it higher. If it's something that is a nice brand but I've had it forever and I just want to get rid of it, I'll usually mark it pretty low. I feel there isn't really a certain rhyme or reason on how necessarily to price your things. I know other people would disagree. That's just my personal opinion. Obviously, before you hit submit, you just want to double check everything, make sure your sizing is correct, make sure your brand is correct, make sure your shipping preferences are correct. Okay, and the last step is to package up your stuff and ship it off. So I have a system right now that really works for me. It's quick, it's easy, I can do it at home, and it gets my stuff shipped out in a timely manner. and it looks cute. So for my packaging personally, what I have found to be the easiest is using poly mailers. I just ordered these on Amazon. They have them in a bunch of different colors and sizes and stuff like that. So I have like some bigger ones for jackets, some smaller ones for jewelry, and then these are like the most common ones I use for like tops and shorts and things like that. They're not super expensive. It's like $17 or so for like a pack of 100. It's definitely not the most environmentally sustainable, which I'm aware of. I used to use like old Amazon packages and stuff like that, but then I just ended up never having enough. So this was just a way that I could ensure that I wasn't having to like wait on packaging or anything. Once I'm done with all these, I'll probably try to find some sort of like recycled paper packaging or recycled tissue paper or something like that. So basically I just make sure that the item is clean, and then I wrap it in some sort of like tissue paper. I got these cute little stickers that say thank you, and I put that on the package as well. And then I got little business cards from Canva, and I just have like my Instagram and my YouTube and stuff like that on there. I definitely think that adding a little bit of personalization and branding to your packages is super cute, and it makes your buyer feel like they're shopping from more of like a boutique kind of feel instead of just getting like an item shoved in a box. It definitely doesn't go unnoticed. I've had a few reviews that say cute packaging. Obviously, you don't have to spend a lot of money doing it. Even just writing like a personalized note or something like that, I think that people would find like super cute. If you're gonna spend money on one thing with packaging, I would say to buy sticky shipping labels. For the longest time, I was just printing it out on paper and then using like shipping tape to tape it onto like a box, and it was just a pain in the ass. So I'll go ahead and try to put like a link down below of the Amazon labels that I bought. There's a bee outside my window. Oh. But basically you just print it out and slap it on the package, and it makes it super, super easy. Really quick, if you do buy the labels, on Depop, if you click print, it like prints out normally, but on Poshmark, it's like formatted weird. So I went ahead and took a video showing you guys how I go into Word and like flip it and format it so that it fits on the shipping label. So I'll put that video in so you guys can see how I do that. It takes like 2 seconds. But I had a lot of fuck ups printing it, and so I would have found that helpful. If you don't want to order packaging, you can always also go to like a post office, and I think they have like free priority mail boxes and envelopes and stuff like that that you can use. And then once everything's packaged up and you're ready to drop it off, a lot of companies use USPS, so you can just go to like any post office, you can just slip it in any mailbox. Another way that you can do it that I think would be super good during quarantine is you can do a package pickup. You can schedule for a postman to come pick it up outside your apartment, outside your house, or whatever. So now I'm just gonna talk about like a few different tips that I've figured out over doing this for the past few years. I actually started selling on Vinted and Poshmark and Tradesy, but I started doing that like probably 4 years ago or something. Now I mostly post on Depop and Poshmark. Those are the two that I use most frequently. So between Depop and Poshmark, I would say it totally just depends on your audience. I feel like Depop has kind of like a certain vibe, thrift shop kind of styled stuff. I feel like Poshmark is more like your Lululemon, your Anthropologie, basically more like basic styles of clothing. I personally post everything on both because like I said earlier, you want to maximize the number of people that are seeing your items. So going along with that, my first tip is to promote the shit out of your shops. I don't care if it gets annoying on Instagram. I don't care if it gets annoying on Facebook. Post to your Instagram stories, post to your Facebook, text your friends, put it in your Snapchat story, put it in your sorority Facebook group. But you would actually be surprised at like how many of your friends and people that you know want to support your shop or will end up like sending it along to other people. If your friends are willing to, ask them to share your page, ask them to share your link. Basically anybody that you can get on your page looking at your stuff is just one more opportunity and one more chance that you have to be able to sell your things. Another tip that I have is to end up pricing things a few dollars higher than you would be willing to accept. So let's say you have a top that you're willing to take $20 for, but nothing lower. I would post it at like $22 to $25. Since these are like secondhand thrifting apps, a lot of people are going to be submitting offers to you and kind of bargaining back and forth with you. So if you price it a little bit higher than you're willing to accept, people will end up probably offering you the price that you would have posted it for anyway, it's a win-win for both people. They feel like they're getting a good deal. You're getting the same amount of money that you would have taken in the first place. Next, I'm going to talk about bundles because I wish that I knew this kind of stuff before I started posting. I've actually never sold a bundle on Poshmark, so I really don't know how to do that. But on Depop, I do have a certain way that I do it because I have gotten fucked over in the past. A bundle is basically when somebody buys more than one item from your shop, so they end up paying like one shipping price. A lot of the time, sellers will offer a discount if people buy more than one item from their shop, so they'll give like 15 or 20% off if you buy like 3 or more things, something like that. So I had a few instances in the past where people would bundle items. I ended up having to pay for shipping. I ended up not getting as much money as I was supposed to on the sale. I like emailed customer service and basically I just like lost the money. So now I know better and I kind of do it under the table, and I'll tell you guys how. I'm just gonna give you guys like a little example so I feel like it's easier to understand. So let's say somebody's like, hey, I want this tank top and I want these shorts. How much for both? Let's say they're both $15, bringing the total price to $30. I'll say, hey, what about 22 for both items? That's $8 off. And they're like, yeah, sick, I'll pay that. Okay, cool. So what I do is I change the price of one of the items to reflect the price that we came to an agreement on, which was the $22. So let's say I pick the tank top. I'll change the price of the tank top to $22, and then I'll change the shipping to reflect the weight of both of them. Then I message them and say like, hey, it's all ready. You can just check out with the tank top. So on the app, it only technically shows that she bought the tank top, but then I just go in, I mark the shorts as sold, and then I package both items together in the same package and ship it out to her. The next tip that I have is to not be too stubborn, and to a certain extent, you're just gonna want to accept an offer. I've had so many times in the past where people have submitted an offer that was like $1 or $2 below what I was willing to accept, and I still have the item sitting in my closet because I was stubborn and didn't just take the deal. To a certain extent, I would say that some money is better than no money. So if it's something that you don't really care about or it wasn't really expensive, like I would say just take the offer. Obviously, if it's something that has a lot of value to you or it was really expensive, you can definitely say no. The next one is to respond in a timely manner. I personally would say don't wait any longer than 12 hours. I know some people say 24 hours. I check my phone all the time, especially if I just uploaded stuff. So I usually respond within like 3 to 5 hours personally. Kind of going off of responding in a timely manner, you want to tell people if you are out of town and you're not going to be able to ship their stuff for a while. So put it in your bio, or if they're messaging you, asking you stuff, just be like, hey, just a heads up, I am out of town. And even though it might cost you a sale, it's not worth it to get a shitty review, in my opinion. Another one that seems super self-explanatory, but I still want to just point out, is not to be rude to people. You would be surprised at the number of lowball offers you get. You could literally post a pair of Yeezys and someone's like, $5? And you're like, what the fuck? What makes you think? In what world? But you can't say any of that to them. I would just say, hey, sorry, I can't accept that. You can just say no. You can say, hey, sorry, I value this item at more than $5. People are gonna ask you 500 stupid ass questions and then not end up buying your shit, and it's gonna get annoying, but you still have to just like keep your cool. You are running a business, so you want to make sure that you're being as nice to customers as you can. Another one that I would say is to follow up with people. So if they message you and they're asking about sizing or the color or the material or pricing, and then you don't end up hearing from them again, I would wait a few days and then reply and be like, hey, let me know if you have any other questions about this item. Smiley face. You want to make sure they don't have any other questions so you can seal the deal. Another one that I kind of talked about whenever you're choosing your clothing is you want to be transparent about the flaws. If it has any snag, any stain, it's usually not going to make a person not want to buy your stuff, but it will bite you in the ass if you end up shipping it to them. They don't know, and then they write you a shitty review or want a refund or something. Write in the description, little tear photographed in fourth picture. But like I said, you want to be transparent. I feel like that's just part of being a good person. Before you ship things out, I would say just make sure everything is clean. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, but if you can wash the items, I would do that. I would definitely lint roll it if you live in a home with like a pet. I live in a home with a dog, so I lint roll things as best as I can just to make sure there's not any dog hair or anything on it. Another tip that I have, and this is something that I wish I had been doing for the past few years, If you're thinking about posting something, but you're not really sure, or you don't know if you want to hold on to it, like you still like it, but you're not really, I would say post it. If it sells, cool. Half the time you don't even miss it, don't even realize that it's gone. And if it doesn't sell, then you get to keep wearing it. So I would definitely say if you're indecisive, just post it anyway. Biggest and the last tip that I have for you guys is to be patient. I would say that unless you have a lot of followers on social media like Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that, it definitely takes a little while for your shop to kind of gain traction, gain followers, for you to kind of gain reputation and credibility as a seller. So if you're doing this for quick cash to like pay off your credit card bill or pay your rent, I would say do not look to sell your clothes on Depop or Poshmark. I definitely think if you have the patience and you have the space, that it is worth it to try to upload things on these apps instead of going to like Plato's Closet, because you do end up usually getting a lot more money. And I think it's really fun. I love having a little shop. I love making sales and packaging up all my stuff. Like, it's just like a fun little routine for me. Okay, so those are all the tips that I have for you guys. If you have any questions about like bundling or packaging or anything like that, just leave them in the comments down below and I'll be sure to reply. Also, I'm going to try to link as many things as I can in the down bar, so like the poly mailers as well as the shipping labels. I'll also post my Depop and Poshmark links down below so you guys can take a look at how I've set up my page and all my photos and things like that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you found this video somewhat helpful, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!